Hey, hi everybody. Welcome back to Doing Divorce Right. This is Jennifer Hurwitz, and I say this every time. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But this time, I'm really excited because it's my favorite topic. Doesn't surprise anyone. This doesn't surprise anyone. My favorite topic is, of course, sex. I don't know why I get so excited about this. It just gets me all revved up. I love it. I'm talking about sex today, and I'm actually going to do video and audio both today, which is sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Depends on the guest. And I have a hot little number with me today. Dr. Guyn is here. And we met a while back in April at the New Media Summit. And we hit it off and we had a little, I think like a sexual attraction probably because I just think you're awesome. Yeah. So we have both. So we get to look good and talk nicely today. So sex. So I'm going to read your bio, Jane. Can I do that? What are we calling you? Dr. Jane? Dr. Sex?
You can call me whatever you want, girlfriend.
I love it. Okay, Dr. Jane Guyn is a nationally known sex expert with a PhD in human sexuality. She's the author, I love this, of the Amazon #1 bestseller, Too Busy to Get Busy, and the creator of the transformational bedroom model. Let's talk about that too. Because Dr. Jane's been married to her best friend, Jim, for over 30 years, she understands the challenges of creating a satisfying erotic life in the middle of all the distractions. Although things haven't always been perfect, they have better sex now than they did when they almost got caught making out in the conference room at the county hospital where they first met. Welcome, Jane. Dr. Jane.
It's so great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm so happy you're here. So tell me, where do we start? How did you end up working as a sex coach? Wait, what's the difference between a sex coach and a sex therapist? What's the difference?
That is such a good question. Therapists are, well, we all know what marriage counselors, regular therapists, psychology types do. They kind of go back into our lives, and my pussy's going to be showing here in a minute. I'll show you. Ready? Whoops. My kitty. So anyway, they go back into our lives and they kind of help us deconstruct what happened with our moms and, things that influence us today and help us heal the past. And sex coaches or people like me, sex experts who work with clients, also do some of that because the past definitely informs the present. And if we don't deal with the past in some way, it will prevent us from getting what we want in the future. Okay. But what we do as sex coaches is really help clients create a path and a plan to an amazing erotic life together, either with a partner, typically. But when we're not partnered, we can still kind of channel our erotic energy, still be in touch with who we are as sexual beings, because that brings so much aliveness to everything we do. So that's the difference. Sex therapists are really using that same psychological model informed by sexual content, sexology. That I'm a sexologist, like the best thing to be ever, in my opinion. But they use sexology within the framework of therapy and psychology, whereas somebody like me is focused specifically on sexology and coaching. So I'm a coach and a sexologist.
Do you have to have a problem with your sex life to come to you? Do I have to have an issue, or do people come to you before they have an issue? Do the people come? That's my question. How do you start with you? Do you just...
Usually people come with a question.
Okay.
It may not be a problem, but it's always some kind of a question. Okay. And the question might even be, is the relationship that we are co-creating or that I'm seeking, how am I going to manifest that in my life? And Jennifer, it's so much like lots of things we do in our lives where we are creating an intention to have the kind of life that we truly desire. But we don't really know how to do that with sex. We kind of think it just happens to us. It's like, oh my God, I'm turned on. Wow.
It doesn't. It takes work.
I don't know what happened. I mean, why was that awesome? And this one was like why? What happened? What is it? So I help people deconstruct, what's going on, because sometimes it just feels like it's just not even understandable. We just it was hot or it was not. And what do you do when you don't know how to take it?
Right. And sometimes I feel like the guy has, well, I shouldn't, but it's not always the guy. I feel like sometimes we blame, a lot of women are like, well, it's done, and he did it. It's not always the
Absolutely.
guy. Like, I feel like a lot of times it's me. Like, I'm not into it, or I feel like I'm being pressured. I'm
Yep.
tired. And so like, it's both of us, right? We have to kind
You
of,
bet.
so I love that,
Right.
right?
We like to think it's a guy. There's this whole kind of like mythology around, guys, they don't get us. I mean, they just are like clueless. If I were with a woman, she would understand me. She would know everything about my body. She would please me. It's
Yeah.
a huge fantasy for lots of women. My kitty again. But the truth is that when you don't talk about what you like, it doesn't matter what gender your partner
Right. You
is.
have to talk about it,
You're
right?
not gonna. There's nobody's clairvoyant here.
Right. You have to talk about it.
You
And I
bet.
think a lot of people don't. I mean, and especially if you can't talk about it, how does he know? Like, how does
Yeah,
he know what you want if you can't verbalize it?
exactly. And
Right.
let's think a little bit about female anatomy.
Right.
Okay, first of all, let's think about male anatomy.
Yeah.
Okay, moment of silence. Bring that to mind. Okay, now we have male
Here we go.
anatomy.
What is this one?
I think I can. Yes, here we have your microphone. I'm thinking about male anatomy.
I get so many comments about this mic.
I love your microphone. It's
like,
amazing.
hello.
Yes, it's kind of intimidating.
It's a little bit
Anyway,
phallic. I'm gonna try.
that's what she said. Anyway, so you've got the male anatomy. It's like not that complicated what to do. It's like pretty obvious, straightforward. Like there it is. And maybe in some cases, guys work with, issues with their erections or premature ejaculation or early ejaculation, as we call it. Lots of things happen. But for many men, it's fairly easy to be pleased by a woman.
Sure. Doesn't take much. I mean,
Women have a different situation, different anatomy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's more like a mystery zone.
There's a lot of parts. There's a lot going
Right.
on.
Yeah, it's just like and we can't even see it. We're like, just down there somewhere, please. Just do what you know to do.
Just find something.
Dude, you're great. I hear you're amazing. Down there, something good. Okay.
Just aim low. Just go down there. Just do something. It's so hard for them. I kind of feel bad a little for them sometimes.
Yeah.
Like how do they even have it? I mean, what? Yeah, that we need you. Everyone just kind of needs you. Like, I feel like it should come with it should come with the manual, and it kind of does. But what do you say? What do you do? I feel bad
when somebody doesn't know.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like uncomfortable, and then I mean, I know what you. I mean, I'm like, look, go there. Me, I'm pretty verbal.
Yeah.
So if you're getting in bed with me, I'm kind of like,
like,
I feel like there are a lot of women who are just uncomfortable saying, do this, do that. They feel pushy. They feel, like they're kind of hurting their feelings if they don't do it right. And, so.
Well, gosh, that's the right thing to ask, because when you communicate with your partner, when you tell, let's say it's a guy, let's say you're with a guy, and you say, this is what I like, and you verbalize, you make noises, you give the, yes, I like that, no, a little slower, maybe more this way, maybe more that way. And frankly, most men, no, I'm not saying this is all men, but a lot of men really enjoy pleasuring a woman orally.
Yes.
And women get kind of funny about that. They assume that somehow it's not fun to do that, or, that kissing a woman's genitals or licking, sucking, whatever we're doing here is not pleasant. Frankly, they're wrong.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Ding dong, who's there? It's all good. We don't care. Look at, I don't care. Nicole, my editor, she's amazing. We don't care.
Okay.
You have to get
hang
it.
on. Okay.
Well, hang on.
For a
Just
second.
hang on. We'll just talk here, and I'll talk to you guys about sex. I can actually I can talk about it. We'll talk about it. No, I'm not talking about it, but I'll talk. So Dr. Guyn is now getting the door, and then we can talk about more with her. And actually, I can sit here because for 1 second and say that I think if I am correct, that Dr. Guyn is going to offer a complimentary Feel Empowered Now session for the first 10 listeners who contact her. And we will put her number on the show notes and all that good stuff. And, that's good stuff. And if you have any questions for me, you can always find me on my website, www.jenniferhurwitz.com. And we will put more with Dr. Guyn on my show notes. Hi, she's back. Hi, Dr. Guyn. Yay. We missed you.
The electrician is here.
I love that. Can he work while we talk? Is that okay?
I think he can, yes.
Awesome. Okay, so I have another question for you. I just said that you have a Feel Empowered Now session is what you call your sessions.
Yeah.
Right? And then you said that you speak to women's groups.
Yep.
About why men fail at sex.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's kind of cool. So women's groups, do you have men's groups too or just women's?
Men's groups, guess what I talk to them about?
Well, why we fail.
No, why women are impossible to please.
Why are we impossible to please?
Well, we think that our guys should be able to read our minds, kind of what we were talking about before.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
They can't. They're in a jungle, and they
they are in a jungle.
To greater or lesser extent, and we hold the treasure map. We know what, because frankly, we're not all the same.
No, we're not.
And men are not all the same either. But what we do is we expect this guy to be somehow, first of all, he has to figure out how to get us to want to. That's a big thing.
Yeah, get us turned on.
Yeah, get us. Well, and it's not his responsibility, frankly, but we sometimes think it is. Like, he's supposed to make this happen. And somehow, if we aren't into it, it's not our fault. It's his fault. Frankly, that's not true.
Okay.
It's our eroticism is our responsibility.
Right.
We get to keep that happening. We get to, and we don't just get to, we should.
I agree.
We need
say that again. Yeah. I feel like a lot of my clients and a lot of my, they're like, well, I'm just not into it. And I feel like I don't have to, and it's not my job. I'm like, ooh, it shouldn't be a job. You should be, right? I mean, you should.
Well, yes, but there's a caveat to that. Yes, it shouldn't be.
Right, but I get it.
It's a job, but if it is actually a job, there's a missing piece.
Yes, I agree.
Because when it's good, and when it's good for both people, it isn't a job.
No, it should be fun.
It's like, when can we get together? When can we have this time? I'm thinking about you all day. Oh my gosh, I'm sexting you. I'm sending you pictures of, and I'm not saying this necessarily sexual pictures, but things about my life that are erotic to me. Or maybe I am sending sexual pictures. It's like totally between you and your phone. It's not my thing.
Right. But it's foreplay. Don't you think that's foreplay? It's like that's all day foreplay. And I feel like that has to go on. I mean, I know when I was married for 13 years, it didn't go on.
Yeah.
And we just got disconnected and our intimacy is gone. And once it's gone, it's really hard to get back.
Right. It's hard to get back, but it's not impossible. So you can get it back, but both people have to care.
I agree.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to unravel an erotic thread for each other so that you both know how to please each other, like where to find each other. And it might be in a place where you just actually had no idea even to look. Like, I don't know, there's so many fun things about sex that we can explore. And it doesn't have to be anything illegal, kinky.
We'll stay inside. We don't have to go in the alleys.
We can actually be in the house. Legit, not necessary, but it's possible. I mean, there's so many things. It's just like, how can it get boring? It's like, why? How could it possibly be boring? But of course, it gets boring if you just like, same thing, like just put on the playlist for sex, and it's like A, B, C, D, and we're done,
I feel like, I hate to say, so many people do that. I feel like I talk to my girlfriends, we're like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why? But why do we do that? Why do we just get so, is it routine? Is it easy? You get in bed, you brush your teeth, you roll. I mean, like what?
He grabs your ass.
He grabs your ass.
French kiss.
Yeah, your French
kiss. Then it's like, okay, it's on. He lights a candle.
I don't even get a candle. I would have a candle. That'd be awesome. I mean, candle's like a happy, that's extra. That's a good day.
That's good.
I'm like, yay.
I think the thing is that we just don't have a framework for it. We don't think about it the same way we think about other stuff. Like if you treated sex the same way if you treated going out to dinner the same way you treated sex, you'd always go like to and nothing against Old Country Buffet because they have lots of options there. But when you went there, you'd always go for the prime rib every single time. The prime rib.
I'm dying.
It's like, and the Jello salad.
With marshmallows.
Right. And then maybe you have the whatever, you make the same choices, but in truth, sex is like Old Country Buffet. There's a lot of options.
Is it just we're lazy? Do you think we're just lazy, or we know
Yeah.
what we like and it's like we know that this works? Like,
Yeah.
I know this works, so I'm just going to do it again because
I think we fear rejection.
oh,
And when we dive into something that's actually erotic for us, it's just an edge,
yeah,
and we find that edge. So for many of us, that's a really beautiful edge to find.
yeah,
And we love the turn on of the edge. But then when we have it, it's scary, can be scary. Like if I share this edge, then first of all, is my partner going to blow it up and be like, ew?
yeah, right.
Or is it just disappear? And now I have no eroticism because I have this fantasy about something. And when I like bring it into the light, I have no more access to my erotic connection to self. And so sometimes that's it. Like we're living in our own little erotic heads. He's over here with his fantasies. I'm over here with my fantasies. And we're like going through the motions about something to please each other in some way. And, that's on a good day.
Right. That's not a good, right. Exactly.
Right. So I think that's part of it. I think the vulnerability of the topic is a huge piece. I think laziness plays in for sure.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with somebody about this. He's like, do you just say like, hey, you want to do it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
And then, hey, you want to do it? It's like, it's not, it's actually something to cherish or to really cultivate, because the power in it is so immense. When you're really connected to your eroticism, all parts of your life are going to change. I mean, your business is going to become so much juicier as well. You're going to start seeing people attracted to you in all areas of your life and work. You're going to put off this huge energy, this attractive erotic energy that people will just be drawn to. And it will literally change your life, in my opinion. I've seen this over and over again. It will change your life no matter who you are, how old you are, what your current situation is, what your history is.
Wow.
You connect to that source of erotic power in yourself and then start sharing it with a partner, and your life will be different.
I think you're going to get a lot of phone calls. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's awesome, right? I mean, like, whoa. Like, yeah, it's awesome. And do you feel like, especially when you're with, like, both people have to want this? Like, you both have to want this.
Well, both people have to be willing.
Right.
Okay, because there's a lot of times when both people don't want it. And it isn't necessarily what could be, but it's what is.
Okay. That makes sense.
So you might have a partner who says, like, my husband, he just doesn't want sex. I think he's got a low T.
Oh.
But maybe he doesn't.
Right. So what exactly, right? I think a lot of women are like, oh, he has low. I hear that all the time. But how do they know? Maybe he just doesn't want sex with.
Or maybe he just doesn't want the sex. The sex they're having.
Different sex.
Yeah. Because it's like, it becomes routine.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of us who, even if we're the person because usually there's somebody in a relationship who's the initiator and the other person is the responder.
Oh,
so you have, in most relationships, it doesn't tend to balance back and forth. I'd recommend that if you're in a relationship where you're always the initiator or where your partner's always the initiator, it's good to trade off with that, because that's kind of one of the harder parts of it, is getting it going. So if you're the person who's always initiating and you find your partner isn't that receptive, maybe what you're offering isn't really hitting them in a place, literally or figuratively, where they feel like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll do that. That's what happens. I mean, you're like offering up the same thing, and
right.
It might have been fantastic the first 100 times.
But come on, yeah. And sometimes it's kind of hot when you're like when it's like he jumps you and you're not used to him jumping you, or like you jump him or you attack him, not attack, like, whatever. And he's like, whoa, she never does this in the kitchen.
Of course,
I'm saying it's like kind of like sexy or whatever, but
it is.
But like, how do I think a lot of us, and I have a lot of females, a lot of women that say to me, well, he's really intimidated by my toys. I get that all the time. Or I have these, I pull out my vibrator and he's like, put that, I don't like the plastic, or you've got me here. Why do you need that? I get that all the time.
Yeah, I had somebody say that the other day in a session where the guy's like, I don't even feel like I'm needed anymore.
Right.
I feel like,
Right.
like she just kind of like in her own zone and like, let me know when you're done.
Yes, I get that all the time. And I'm like, and I say to my friends, well, why don't you just have him join in? Or why doesn't he play with you with it? Like, aren't you together doing it? And she's like, no, he's not interested when I have it. And I'm thinking, huh. So I kind of feel like, is it an intimidation thing? Is it they don't like the?
Well, it depends on how that's framed, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in a situation where there's a toy in the bed, men like toys.
Yeah.
It's not just on you, down in the perineum, the area between the testicles and the anus, that area is very easily stimulated with a vibrator if you're careful not to hurt the testicles. So that using your toys on your guy is a good opportunity to make it something that you're both playing with. So it's not just you. Because I think what partners don't like is like the feeling that, number one, you're not open to any gift he's bringing, like not needed, not even interested, don't even want it, and that you're just kind of like on autopilot, wish you weren't there, almost like let me do her, let me get her done. And like, that's not sexy. I mean, why would that be sexy? It's like if he said he had his sleeve there, I don't know how G-rated this.
It's not G-rated. We're okay. It's we're explicit. Yeah.
Excellent. So, if he had a masturbation sleeve and, was like, listen, I got this, I'll get back to you in a few minutes.
I would be like, look at Bubba. I would be like, excuse me. Yeah.
It would be equally like off-putting. You'd be like, okay, I hear you and all. That's great. I'll just hang out and maybe I'll read. I've got an Audible I'm working on,
I got a podcast on sex.
I'm listening to something.
Doing divorce right over here.
Don Lemon is like talking about something. I'm on my, it just doesn't engage.
Right.
What is like, just like say, bring it to me, baby. I want you. I don't, this is about like something we're creating that is not something we've ever done before. This time right now, it's like, what would happen if you were meeting a stranger? Like you were going to come into this situation where somehow you'd gotten connected to somebody, a lover, and you were going to like have this one-time thing, perfectly safe. I'm having a fantasy here. So you have this lover, you're going to get into this situation with this lover. You're going to like meet him in a hotel room, and you're going to bring your A game to the situation, and you're going to be with him and make him feel amazing. He's going to make you feel amazing. Of course, this is all perfectly, this is a consensual situation. Awesome. Are you going to just show up and be like, hey, move to the side, I'm going to get off first, and then, and I'll get with you in a few minutes? You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that.
No, you're going to bring your A game, right?
You're going to be like engaged. And I know we don't always have enough energy to be, to bring our A game. Sometimes we're tired. Totally get that. I mean, I've got 500 children myself, and, like way too many pets and, whatever. And I've currently got the electrician in the other room.
Hold on, sir. Hope he's not listening to this. Okay, but meanwhile, I get it.
He's cool. He's very cool, I'm sure.
He's like, what's going on in there? Yeah, but I get it. Like, but you have to show up. You have to show
up. Show up for yourself as an erotic being. And like, if you don't know what that is, if you don't know where that is inside of you, find out. Because she needs you. She is ready. She is there. And
I love that.
She's been waiting. She's waiting for you to say, come on, help me out here.
I love that. We're going to use that quote. We're going to, Nicole's she's on this. She's got a good thing. Do we have a headshot for you? We've got to make a good promo for you. I love it. Jane, I loved having you. I think this is awesome. Where can we find you? Where can everybody find you to get you?
Okay, you can get me at, my website is janeguyn.com. Okay. Jane like Tarzan, GUYN.com. But the other way you can find my website is howtofixmysexlife.com. It goes to the same place.
Awesome. I love it. We'll have you all over the show notes.
Awesome.
So make sure everybody can find you. Thank you for coming today.
My pleasure.
No pun intended. Okay,
no pun intended.
I loved it with my phallic in here. I loved it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It was so fun.
I loved it. And I just come back again. Come back.
Yeah, we'll have to get together again soon.
I would love it. Thank you for coming. And everybody, thank you for listening. This is Jennifer Hurwitz, and you can find me at www.jenniferhurwitz.com and all over everywhere. And thank you, Dr. Jane. This is Doing Divorce Right. Peace, love, and truth. Bye, girl. Yay.
Awesome. Thank you. That was so fun.
Thank you.
I wonder if you can hold that.